10-11. The inside story on the Brando tragedy next, Geraldo.
Thank you. Welcome back. Talking about the sad state of our cities today, Mayor White of Cleveland, Ben Wattenberg, Mayor Flynn of Boston, Secretary Kemp. Well, with us today, Mrs. Marshall, who has been a victim of life in the city, homeless. What is your situation?
Okay, I'm homeless with 4 children, and I became homeless because of overcrowding in the apartment where I was staying. And I've tried to get housing, and everywhere you go to the real estate companies, they have certain incomes, standards that they want you to have, but yet still they still reject you. You try, and you still become homelessness because they have set certain standards or certain amount of income that they want you to make. And it's nowhere to turn to because of my other family, which my brother's in Iraq, and my mother, she's a senior citizen, and there's nowhere else to go. So you forced into homeless even when you try to get a place. But the real estate companies here in the District of Columbia set certain incomes that they want you to have, and if you're not meeting that, what are you supposed to do? Be out on the street? And that's where I'm at with me and my 4 children.
Mayor White, if she comes to you, Mayor White, in Cleveland, what would you do?
First of all, she comes to Cleveland, she will be the 10,000th first homeless person in the city of Cleveland. If we were talking about a problem that was just in Washington, D.C., then we could say that's Washington's problem, and they've got to find a solution. The problem this young lady is talking about is a problem in Boston, it's a problem in Detroit, it's a problem in L.A., it's a problem in every major city, and it's directly related to the changed housing policies and the changed commitment to cities beginning in the late 1970s with a Democratic president and hastened with 2 Republican presidents. The fact of the matter is, if we're going to respond to it, it will take resources above and beyond what the cities have. One final point. The federal government, both the administration and the Congress, know how to take care of various interests. There are various subsidies and incentive programs that have been developed through the budget process in the billions of dollars. The fact of the matter is, we don't have a money problem. This federal government in 1991 will spend $100 billion more in 91 than they did in 90. The problem that this young lady talked about is not being addressed even with an additional $100 billion.
Ben?
And a lot of that money, Mayor, is going to people in cities. It is not, I mean, if you look even through the 1980s, let alone the 1970s, but in the 1980s, the amount of federal monies going for health, education, welfare, the whole social syndrome, in real, non-inflated dollars, right through Ronald Reagan and George Bush, has gone way up. And a lot of that money went to cities. Now, it's not going to the programs that the mayors would like it to go to. So they have to, and they have a whole tax problem.
It isn't exactly. No, it's true. Look, we have with us Doug Domeyer from Chicago. Mayor White is suggesting that there is a bailout for key projects, pet projects. But there is no bailout for Mrs. Marshall. What is your Chicago experience?
Well, I'm hearing a lot of doublespeak here today. In Chicago, HUD just bailed out Presidential Towers, $147 million. You're going to come up with another $12 million to bail out 2,400 units of upper-class housing that replaced 2,400 units of low-income housing. We have 80,000 people in Illinois, 40,000 in Chicago who are homeless. We have no programs. Illinois just got 29 units under a special homeless program for single people only. And that's all we got coming into the state.
Let me ask this question again. I want to be clear. You're saying in Chicago there is a place called Presidential Towers.
Right.
2,400 units. It was bailed out for $160 million.
$160 million. There's some reports that may go as high with all the FHA bailouts in this country of 5 days.
Secretary Kemp, do lower class, now that the federal government has bailed them out.
Is he are you a professor?
No, that's not.
No, I don't mean. No,
I'm the director of the Public Welfare Coalition in Illinois.
You know then that
I want to make sure my question is clear. Now that the federal government has bailed them out.
Well, they haven't though, see?
It hasn't?
They haven't, no.
Okay.
The developer who got a special tax break back in the 70s, or maybe early 80s, put up a lot of money to develop high-rise, high-cost, above-market rate housing for wealthy people. They came to us and they were going to default on an FHA loan that was made back in the early 80s thanks to a set-aside, I won't tell you who, but by the Congress.
Representative Rostenkowski,
right.
of Illinois.
And so they were going to go belly up, cost the FHA fund $160 million. I said, I will only put some money in there. We would only put some more money in if you do two things. Put up more of your own capital, A, and B, turn some part of the high-rise income housing into low-income housing. They wouldn't do it on either base, so we had to
But
take
you
it
made
to
a
FHA.
commitment a couple weeks ago
I'm
in
doing
Chicago.
exactly what you want me to do. I'm trying to encourage low-income people.
But you made a commitment a couple weeks ago in Chicago. You were going to put low-income housing in that building. Now, we haven't heard any more about that commitment.
It's there. That's why they had to. That's why they turned down the deal that we made to them. And incidentally, the negotiations are still open as we talk. My hope is, as the housing secretary who just dedicated 850 West Eastwood,
that's right,
which is basically exactly what you're promoting, we hope that we can get.
I want to be clear. You wrote a check.
No, it's
a check was written for $160 million. Did that happen?
I hope it doesn't happen. It is still in negotiation, and it really doesn't help the interests of the low-income people that we want to live in presidential towers, nor does it help the city of Chicago, who's working on a tax abatement for that project. It would be a shame to allow presidential towers to occupy too much when there really is a problem that ought to be addressed.
Let me ask
this is not one of them.
Well, if you sign the check, will the condition involve allowing low-income people to live in presidential towers?
I made that a long time ago, and I will stick by that commitment. I have no problem at all. If I had been HUD secretary back in the early 80s when FHA underwrote a high-rise, above market rate housing for rich folks, I wouldn't have done it. FHA should be available to low and moderate income people for first-time home buyers, not presidential towers, golf courses, swimming pools, and the things I got them out of. I got them out of it.
If you're living in Salt Lake City, why should you help bail out New York City? Urban crisis, urban challenge, urban hope. We'll be right back.
You have to solve the problem of crime and the epidemic of drug addiction and AIDS. You have to revive the local economic base of these neighborhoods. Improve the public education system.
Gee, sounds awful, Bob.
It's no day at the beach, Steve. Sore throat, cough.
Try one of these.
Sugar-free Nice showers your throat with medicine for icy, cool relief.
Oh, cool. Feels better. Guess it's back to work for me.
Yeah.
Put your throat on ice with Nice.
Some juice drinks are just 10% juice. Okay if you have a 10% kid. Some are only 50% juice. Fine for half a kid. But Juicy Juice is 100% juice for 100% kids. Like yours.
Should your name be on this envelope? It should if you or someone you love is age 50 to 80, and it will be addressed to you if you call now for this important information. Free information about a life insurance policy designed especially for men and women age 50 to 80. Life insurance with no physical examination and no medical questions. You cannot be turned down regardless of your health or for any reason. And your premium will be $6.95 a month and will never increase. Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company wants to send you the important information in this envelope, and it's free. So if you're age 50 to 80 and thought it would be difficult to buy life insurance, shouldn't you call now? Here's the number.
Call 1-800-922-6900 for free information and your free guide to Social Security. Call now, 1-800-922-6900.
Hey, how about some rich, fudgy, chocolatey homemade brownies?
Homemade? No. Too hard to make.
Not with new Baker's Chocolate One Bowl brownies. It's the world's easiest homemade brownie recipe because it all happens in one bowl.
Mom's got a bowl.
In about the time it takes for a mix. With real Baker's Chocolate, you could have the richest, fudgiest homemade brownies.
I'll never make brownies from a mix again.
New Baker's Chocolate One Bowl brownie recipe. Homemade? You've never had it so easy.
Frustrated football fans, are you tired of your team not performing up to par? Ever wish you could pick the team? Dial 1-900-446-8326 for 900 fantasy football, and your troubles are over. Now, you create your own team by drafting professional football players, and if your players do well, you do well, and you're only charged $2 a minute for the call. Now, at the end of the week, the owner with the team who compiles the most points wins $1,000! Remember, $10,000! 1-900-446-8326. That's all it takes. What are you waiting on?
Is this woman nuts?
How could a human being just trample on the dignity and respect of another human being and deprive them of the right to peace and harmony?
On the next People's Court, what did this neighbor do to drive her nearly insane?
Just like raping me and pillaging me of my respect and dignity as a human being.
Just wait till you see.
And she just like this and starts getting absolutely enraged and starts cussing at me.
The next People's Court.
Monday at 9 a.m., 8 Central on TV3.
Who took the nastiest naked pictures?
I have pictures here of us kissing in his house, of me in my nightgown, in his house, on his bed, if you'd like to see them.
On the next People's Court, when she shows hers...
Okay, let me see your pictures.
He shows his.
Well, that was between him and I, you know.
That's right, it was.
I didn't know he was going to bring those to court.
Uh-oh.
He said, oh, God, and I don't even want to look at him anymore.
You gotta see the next People's Court.
Tuesday at 9 a.m., 8 Central on TV3.
I won? I needed to win. I won!
These lucky people have just won $500 in the Super Soap Opera Trivia Game. All they did was correctly answer 6 questions about their favorite soap.
So call the number on your screen right now. You could be a $500 instant winner.
$500!
Call 1-900-988-SUDS. Each call is $2 per minute.
Join the happy people who are saying,
We won!
The inside story on the Brando tragedy next, Geraldo.
Thank you. Welcome back. Jim Davison of the National Taxpayers Union. Shouldn't we all bear the tax burden of bailing out our cities?
Well, we're already bearing that burden, but I think that we have a bigger problem in this country, which we can't really pave over as easily as we expect we can, which is the basic fundamental insolvency, not only of the cities, but of the federal government. We have, with the S&L crisis, a financial debacle which is going to cost more than World War II. World War II cost $460 billion in today's dollars. We're looking at much more money going down the drain. Secretary Kemp has talked about the money that has been spent. A great deal of it has been misspent in the housing area. The federal government has really become the underwriter of the fall of the housing price throughout the United States. And the reason that people are not, in my view, in the position to subsidize further the fall of big cities is that the whole financial structure of this country is in jeopardy. What we have to do first is restore solvency to the federal government, get the federal government out of the position of underwriting every bad debt in the United States and in the world, or if we don't, this entire country will have a crisis like the crisis in the South Bronx, but there won't be anybody who can bail out the whole country. We've got to restore solvency first to this whole country, and then worry about the rest of it.
It seems that we're willing to bail out, however, the savings and loans industry, perhaps the banks and the insurance companies, but not bail out Mrs. Marshall and her 4 children. On this tax question in Massachusetts, they just voted against a tax rollback. Explain what happened there in Massachusetts.
Well, I think it's also very important to point out that since 1980, there are 275,000 more federal employees now than there were then. So this exactly hasn't been an administration that has practiced what it's preached. In Massachusetts, for example, the CLT petition, the people of Massachusetts, I think very wisely, very prudently, voted against a tax rollback because they knew that it was against the competitive and economic interests in the economy of Massachusetts, particularly in a period of time of a recession. So I think the people are quite capable of making good judgments as to taxes. I guess the point of the matter is, that I would stress, is they will spend tax dollars, but they want to make sure that they're going for critical services that are going to help working families and poor families in our communities.
When we come back, we're going to talk about some plan to reinvest in and rebuild America. We're bailing out savings and loans. We bail out Western Europe. We bail out Japan, now Eastern Europe, now the Soviet Union. Shall we bail out America? We'll be right back.
Monies need to be reprioritized in this country. We're not saying that the poor needs any additional handouts. I think that's been one of the problems over the years. But we're not excusing the federal government for not giving its rightful share. But we are saying that there needs to be a role where the money comes directly to the community.
Everybody loves a little squeeze. Squeeze!
Charmin says, don't hold back. Every family needs squeezing. Don't resist. If it's soft, who needs a reason? Everyone should have some squeezing fun. And with squeezable softness, Charmin's the one. So don't hold back. Everybody agrees. Take that softness and give it a squeeze. So don't hold back. Everybody loves a little squeeze. You got 68 candles, 68 pets, 68 series, a 68 bet. Well, you can take your 68 and 80 cents with the rest. 'Cause Greyhound is 68 or less. Yeah!
Now you can go Greyhound anywhere Greyhound goes for just $68 or less.
So listen up, Gus, and don't miss the bus. Greyhound is 68 or less.
I won? I needed to win. I won!
These lucky people have just won $500 in the Super Soap Opera Trivia Game. All they did was correctly answer 6 questions about their favorite soap.
So call the number on your screen right now. You could be a $500 instant winner.
$500! Call 1-900-988-SUDS. Each call is $2 per minute.
Join the happy people who are saying,
We won!
Who took the nastiest naked pictures?
I have pictures here of us kissing in his house, of me in my nightgown, in his house, on his bed. Would you like to see him?
On the next People's Court, when she shows hers,
Okay, let me see your pictures.
he shows his.
Well, that was between him and I, you know.
That's right, it was.
I didn't know he was going to bring those to court.
Uh-oh.
He said, oh, God, and I don't even want to look at him anymore.
You gotta see the next People's Court.
Tuesday at 9 a.m., 8 Central on TV3. Monsters, Sunday night on TV3.
Welcome back. The crisis and challenge in our cities. Our very special guests include the Mayor of Cleveland, Mike White, Ben Wattenberg, Mayor Flynn of Boston, Secretary Kemp. Mr. Earl Caldwell, today we saw an ugly scene in New York, the closing of Freedom Bank, the centerpiece of economic hope and vitality in Harlem. We here talk about bailouts. Why was there no bailout for Freedom Bank?
Well, not only was there not a bailout, the community had organized and worked feverishly over the last 3 days. And they needed a little bit of time. And had they been able to get maybe 2 or 3 days, the bank would not have gone under today. And secondly, those institutions in this community that have been the biggest contributors, the churches.
I thought since we're working on the same story together.
Look, Melody, I think you'd better get one thing straight right now. We may be working on the same story, but my work is my work.
Tonight, a 1991 world television premiere. Barbara Eden and Heather Locklear on the CBS Tuesday movie. She had the perfect career.
You're doubling my salary.
But someone else wanted it.
I want to know everything you know.
A perfect love life.
Did I die and go to heaven?
But someone was watching.
Come back to bed.
Waiting.
She's got my dress on.
She's with your boss. To take it all away.
Maybe you don't have it anymore.
So just step over the bodies on the way up, huh?
Heather Locklear is out to steal Barbara Eden's life.
I could get anybody to do whatever I want.
With her wicked ways. next.
Her Wicked Ways. Sponsored by Clarion. Makeup and skincare personalized for you, so the look is great.